We need to talk about what the OKC Thunder are doing. When you think of the Thunder, you instantly think of Shai Gilgeous Alexander, and so far he's been averaging 26 points, 7.5 rebounds, 6 assists, with 2.5 steals on 40% shooting, which are still elite numbers, helping the Thunder to a net rating of 16.9 points per game. However, Shai alone isn't the reason why the Thunder have been dominating the NBA to start the season, as that reason is because of their team defense. At the time of writing this video, OKC currently have the league's best defense, holding teams to just 91 points per game, which is a historically great defense. Now, the number of 91 points a night is likely not to hold up for a full 82-game season, but they will likely still have the number one defense by the end of the season. Chet Holmgren might be the defensive player of the year so far, as he's currently averaging 3.5 blocks per game, anchoring this Thunder defense, but he isn't the only one, as Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, and many more have also been elite defenders for this Thunder squad. Remarkably, Isaiah Hartenstein, who is an exceptional defender ranking in the 99th percentile, has yet to touch the court. Beyond the statistics, observing this team live is incredible. In the last game against the Spurs, they limited Victor Wembanyama to just 6 points, and the Spurs as a whole were held to just 93 points, which is notably low for a modern NBA game. On the opening play of the game, Chet made a statement, swatting away an alley-oop attempt for Wemby off the glass. But once the ball falls to Sohan, he gets rejected as well. As a team, the Thunder made life impossible for Wemby, using a smaller defender who can get lower and battle for inside position, leaving Chet Holmgren to play the free safety role. As here, Lou Dort can battle for inside position with Wemby, forcing him to make a play outside of the paint, and here the ball never gets to him, as Chet comes up with the steal. The rotations on this defense are elite, as here J-Dub recognizes that Wemby has nowhere to roll to, so he helps on Champagnie and is able to come up with the steal once he tries to make a pass to Wemby. This OKC defense is so active, as here 3 defenders swarm Collins, forcing another turnover. This is a great defensive possession, as first Aaron Wiggins is able to run his man off the 3-point line, who is then forced to take an incredibly tough layup over Chet, and even though the Spurs get the offensive rebound, Holmgren's right there to send Collins packing. You have to be on your game when you're playing this Thunder team, as here the Spurs are caught sleeping inbounding the ball, and J-Dub pounces, picking up another steal, which eventually results in a Holmgren triple. Here it's J-Dub again, who this time comes up with the block before Wemby can even think about laying the ball up. Here it's the active defense of the Thunder that this time forced Wemby into a bad pass, which is then picked off by Alex Caruso. Even a simple pass is hard to make against this defense, as here all Sohan wants to do is swing the ball, and he can't even do that, as Wallace jumps into the passing lane for another takeaway. The Thunder's defensive scheme was to make Wemby trust his teammates, and in the game it worked pretty well, as here Keldon Johnson is simply no match for Lou Dort. By using a smaller player on Wemby, they can not only battle for position better, but here they can also pick his pocket better, as both J-Dub and Caruso poke it free. This defense is impenetrable, as here Barnes thinks he can fool Chet with an up fake, only to have it swatted from behind by Lou Dort. Cason Wallace has made a major leap this season, as he averages 2.5 steals per game. Here, picking one up on Harrison Barnes, which then leads to an easy 2 for SGA. Turning the defense into offense is what the best teams do, and here OKC do just that, as after Collins fumbles, it's then vacuumed up by Joe, who quickly gives to Wiggins for a hit-ahead pass for SGA again. Of course, the strategy of using a small on an opposing big man won't work against the more experienced bigs like Jokic, Davis, or Sabonis, but once Hartenstein comes back, he'll be tasked with battling down low. This would then allow Chet Holmgren to play this free safety role full-time on defense. Hartenstein is not only one of the best post defenders in the entire league, but he's also just an elite paint defender in general. On Crafted NBA, Hartenstein ranks in the 93rd percentile for defensive rebounds, he ranks 95th for overall rim defense, 96th for rim frequency, meaning the percentage of shots that he defends at the rim, and iHeart also ranks in the 91st percentile for block percentage, all elite numbers. which will make this team so tough to score on. But now, let's take a look at their offense. I know it's only been a small sample size, but the Thunder currently have the 24th worst offense in the NBA, and some of that has to do with their three-point shooting. The Thunder rank 11th in three-point attempts, but they've been struggling with accuracy, currently ranking 28th for team percentage, which is only 31%. This is incredibly different from their performance last season, where they led the league with three-point shooting percentage, making 39% as a team. So I don't think we can really take too much out of the three-point shooting numbers, as I believe as a team, the Thunder should return to their high shooting efficiency by the end of the season, which would bring that 24th ranked offense back up to at least the top 10, which is then going to make this team even harder to stop. But that isn't the only reason why I'm so confident that their offense will get back to the top 10, as the other reason why their offense is so good is because of what they do with ball screens. The Thunder are so good at changing the angle of their screens at the last second, often getting defenders to jump the wrong way, leaving daylight for Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Shai is the ball handler in these screen and roll actions, but what makes the Thunder's screen and roll so special, as it's not like it's an uncommon play, as every team runs these in the NBA. So what makes the Thunder's screens in particular so hard to stop? Well, it's because Shai isn't like any other guard in the league, as he's looking to get to different spots on the floor, which makes him more unpredictable and a tougher guard. Unlike most screen and roll actions that usually end up in the guard either getting to the cup or stopping for an open three, that isn't what Shai wants. He'll take a three-pointer if the defense gives it to him, but what SGA is really looking to do is to put you in his torture chamber, which is in between the elbows at the top of the key. I've never seen a guard operate more effectively in a one-on-one situation in this area than SGA does without having to pass the basketball. The key to his effectiveness off the screens is the angle. A flatter angled screen makes it harder for defenders to go under it, unlike a screen squared to the sideline. When defenders try and go under an angled screen, they can't meet SGA on the other side because he's already going to be past you and going to work in that mid-range area. Then because the screen is flat, the big can't see where SGA is going, and the on-ball defender doesn't know either, which often results in defenders jumping the wrong way, which instantly puts a defense into rotation and gives Shai space to work into. Shai can also stop and shoot that initial three from deep, but he doesn't want to. It's a shot he can make, but it isn't where he's going to destroy you, as that's why the angle of the screen makes it so much more difficult for the defense to counter him. OKC are so good at setting these screens for SGA, as they make it very tough for the defense to communicate what exactly is going on, and it works perfectly because of the personnel and the way Shai scores. Then to make matters even worse, last season, SGA was the best driver of the basketball in the entire league, and the numbers back it up. This is a chart that shows both the volume of drives last season, which is further right, and the efficiency, which is higher up. And just look at how far right and how high SGA is on this chart. He doesn't even look like he belongs on this chart, as he's such a dominant inside player, as if you play him too tight, he's going to get past you into the paint, but if you sag off, he's going to hurt you with the mid-range jumper. So SGA basically uses his mid-range game almost as leverage to be able to get into the paint, making him so incredibly hard to guard. To make matters even worse, he isn't afraid to take the threes, as if the defense sag off of him from that far out, he'll make you pay there too. With Shai being effective inside and off the screen set by his teammates, these actions create a challenging decision for the opposing defense and aligns very well with Shai's distinct playstyle. However, a significant weakness to the Thunder last season was their rebounding, which contributed to their second round loss to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games. OKC last season ranked last in defensive rebounding, as teams were often bullying Chet underneath for rebounds. However, this season, the Thunder are 3rd in defensive rebounds without Hartenstein in the lineup. With Isaiah Hartenstein bringing his rebounding prowess, it's likely the Thunder could be the best offensive rebounding team in the league, which is a major improvement from last season. Not only this, but the Thunder are loaded in the starting lineup, but are also still the deepest team in the NBA, as they have bench pieces like Caruso, Wiggins, Wallace, Dieng, Joe, Kenrich Williams, and the other Jalen Williams, along with two-way player AJ Mitchell, who's been chipping chipping in also. This team, when fully healthy, could legitimately go 12 deep, which is absolutely insanity, but it's the truth. The Thunder have been the betting favourites to make it out of the Western Conference, and of course it's the Celtics in the East, but it's so wild to look at how each team plays so incredibly differently. The Celtics win games by taking a league-leading 56 threes per game, while the Thunder lead the NBA in paint points, scoring 59 points in that area each game. With two very different play styles, but similar standings, this would be an interesting series if they were to meet up in the finals. From 2-point range, OKC are the 4th best team for percentage, making 57% of their 2-point baskets as a team, but despite their high number of drives, they somehow rank 29th for trips to the free throw line per game, which just doesn't add up. On defense, the Thunder are strong at defending 3-pointers, holding opponents to a league-leading 27%, which would be put to the test in a matchup against Boston. As I said in my video on the Celtics, I think they're the biggest threat to themselves in the Eastern Conference, but if we're talking about the entire NBA, it might be this OKC Thunder team. But that's just my take. Are the OKC Thunder actually ready to contend for a title this season? And how have you liked their start to the season? Let me know in the comments below.